So, welcome back to Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. This is episode 39, and you can probably tell by the sound of my voice how I'm feeling tonight. But as always, I'm joined by Calvin. Jack's unfortunately not with us tonight. But Calvin, how you doing, mate?
I'm a bit miffed, mate. I'm a bit caught between a rock and a hard place. Obviously, a bit disappointed Jack Ross is gone, but it wasn't good enough, really, to be honest with you. And then, in the same time, I'm a wee bit excited about potentially what could be next. So, sort of caught between a rock and a hard place, mate. What about yourself?
I agree, mate. Jack Ross wasn't good enough, as it turned out. But we'll come to that in a wee bit. But I'm just a bit depressed with Hibs in a way. I think it's an exciting time, like you say, but not really happy with the way things are just now. But let's talk about last night then, mate. You were representing the podcast at the game. So what was your thoughts on the game, mate?
Just the exact same as I've been saying the last couple of weeks, mate. Just very, very poor, very poor. Nobody gets pass marks. Nobody played well. Too many bottle merchants in that team. Far too many. Just nobody. I mean, I honestly can't put any words. I mean, Hibs is a good team and it's got so much potential, and the folk playing for our club don't realise how lucky they are. Like last night, I am so fed up with this team. I've seen no desire, no hunger, no passion, zero ideas, zero creativity. Nobody could be arsed. Just looked really, really flat. It was really, really poor. They didn't even have the balls to come over and clap us at the end. Only a few of them, young Josh Doig and a few others. The rest of them just ball merchants, afraid to face the music. And there's nothing positive to say about last night. Folk are saying we played well the first 15 minutes, but we hardly created anything. It's the same rubbish all the time. It's get the ball to Boyle and see what he can do, smash it across the box to nobody. Is absolutely eye-bleeding stuff in what was a must-win game. Terrible. It was terrible. There wasn't anything positive. No positive play. Passing forward in that, mate. Everything's backwards and sideways. It's all we can do.
It feels like sometimes we're watching a game of rugby at times, mate. There's no forward ball ever, and when it does go forward, it goes to Boyle, and that's been the same all season. What was your thoughts on the lineup, mate? Jack Ross seemed to have changed the lineup for previous weeks, but still a confusing one if you ask me. What was your thoughts on it?
I think Adam is hurt. I think that's why he dropped it. Other than that, I think I don't even know, mate. Does he know his best 11? Like, I don't know. I mean, he's almost 18 months. How many was it? 2 years just past the other week?
Just past 2 years,
like in his best 11, eh? Like, to me, I'm lost for words, to be honest with you. Seems like a positive one. Murphy, give me a break, please. He's not good enough.
He's not good enough, mate.
He's not good enough, man. Gets the ball, frightened to take anybody on. Frightened to... As I say, mate, he looked so frightened to take anybody on. He had no ideas, no creativity. There was no shooting. No shooting at all. Everything was... It's almost like we had to... it was almost like when you play FIFA and you have to unlock an achievement or something. It was like that. It was almost like we had to score a header last night, or we had to score for a cross, because every ball to either Murphy or Ball and put a cross into the box to Kevin Nisbet, who last night was absolutely awful. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can us in the stands see that it's not working? He should have played a 3-5-2 for the get-go, but he didn't. He's mucking about in that with the team. It was like a flat 4-4-2. You can hear the frustration in my voice, mate. I've not got many positive things to say about them. I'm very irritated with Hibs at the moment. It's the same shit all the time. Promise you the world and come through on nothing. Do you know what I mean?
No, totally, mate, totally.
For me as well, I mean, I'm fed up with the social media team as well. Like, they need to get a rest, man. They're just getting absolute mick taken out of them all over the place, eh?
It's not fun, and you can see by Calvin's background, Hibs are hurting.
Hibs are hurting.
What, Calvin? So we obviously, like, I know Jack Ross said, like, we started the first wee bit well, but then obviously the goal comes in. What was your thoughts on the goal, mate?
Mate, he says we started well, but it's what I'm saying. It's the same. They get the ball, they pass it down the two wings, which every other club in the SPL know we do. You've got to get to Boyle. Boyle runs in, and it's so easy to defend against. So easy to defend against. So did we play well? I mean, let's be honest. We're playing Livingston, who hadn't won in 10 games.
Something
Do you know
like
what I mean? We're
that.
playing Livy, who hadn't won in 10 games. First 15 minutes, we were all right. It's not the best I've seen Hibs. I mean, I guess it was all right compared to what we've been used to the last couple of weeks, but there's nothing to write home about, and it wasn't anything to build a season upon. That's for sure. It was poor. It was poor.
Aye.
I mean, we get the penalty. It's not even a penalty. Do you know what I mean? It's a blatant dive. You can see it from where I am. It's poor. For me, I didn't think we did play that well for 15 minutes. When we're playing Livingston away, we're meant to be the third best team in the country. We can't beat Livingston away. I thought we looked pretty dominant the first 20 minutes, but it's only because we had a lot of the ball, but we didn't do a lot with it. Didn't do enough with it. It's not good enough. Even a point through there is not good enough.
No.
Shocking, mate. It's just fucking fed up at it. It's the same rubbish all the time, man. Promise you the world and deliver you nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's hopeless.
I'm sure people listening can tell by both of our voices, mate, and I'm sure if Jack was here as well, we're frustrated, and it's games like this against away to Livingston. Like last season we won them, and this season we can't even pick ourselves up for the fight. So like we go in 1-0 down at half time, mate. Like I thought the penalty was a joke. It wasn't a penalty. The penalty itself shocking. Like you've got to hit the target for 12 yards out, man. Or at least make the keeper work for it. Kenny Boyle blasts it over the bar. Like just place it.
I don't know what it was. See, when he missed that, you just knew it's one of those nights. So I said it to the boy next to me. I said it's got to be one of those nights.
And that's really that sums up our season. It's one of those games. Every single game, regardless if we win or lose, we never seem to be up for the fight. And something's happened for that to be, because remember the first couple of games we were playing class football, and maybe
we were all right.
Maybe it's McGuinness being out the team, but you can't put it down to one player, Ken. Like something's went wrong, and then obviously the game rolls on, mate, and we go down to 10 men with Paul McGinn. Two stupid sending off. But what would you think of McGinn's one first?
I can't mind his first one off the top of my head. He got a yellow for something, but his second one, mate, it looked like a 50-50. That referee was honking again. The referees in Scottish football, they're a joke. It looked to me like it was a 50-50. Both of them had went for the ball. Both of them had studs showing. And obviously that guy's came off worse. But it must have been because McGinn didn't even question it. He just walked straight off. That's your vice captain for you.
Aye.
Okay, what I mean? He's probably the... So I said someone seeing on Twitter saying he's the luckiest sibling in the world. You're no joking, by the way. For me, he's a decent player in that. Don't get me wrong, but he's your vice captain. Come on, where is it? Where is the motivation to get this team going? There's no hunger. There's no hunger, mate. We've said this since we started this podcast. There's no hunger. There's no desire. Yes, we finished third, but did we not make a meal at it last year? We didn't make it bloody easy for ourselves. We only finished about 7 points clear of a very, very, very poor Aberdeen team. And that was in a league without Hearts as well. And Dundee United and Motherwell were poor last year as well. So it wasn't like Ken. Didn't get me wrong, it was a great achievement, but come on, behave. You know what I mean? Give me a break, man. Seriously. And again, I mean, as I said, that's your vice captain. I mean, it says everything. You're just and Hanlon, didn't even get me started on Hanlon, man. Can we put the ball out the stadium more times than we actually had shots on goal last night?
I believe it, mate.
Hanlon, about 3 times I had the ball down the left-hand side and fucking cleared it over the stadium. What are you doing?
Aye. What do you think of that, mate? Like that's your captain, your vice captain, both been sent off. Listen, what does that tell you about Hibs?
Hibs Twitter's full of snowflakes and that. And Ken, what I feel with Hibs, you can't have an opinion because you're wrong. But no, for me, yes, Hanlon, he scored the goal and all that in the cup final. And do you know what he is? He's a 6 out of 10 every week. He's all right. He's not a superstar. He's not a Sergio Ramos. I think he's quite content with where he is. He's not really got any drive to he's never really had any drive to push himself on and try and break into a Scotland team. Yes, he's been in a few here and there and that, but it's no, I mean, if that's the career he wants, fair enough. He's had a very good career, didn't get me wrong, and he's a good player in his day, but the man's is a mouse, man. Come on, seriously, come on. It is frustrating. I mean, I've seen more passion for the stands. Maybe a boyhood Hibs fan. How can you let this happen to your team? How can you sit there at Livingston and not be on folks' back? Ken, the amount of players hiding last night when they were free in the middle of the park. For me, Newell hiding, Hayes hiding. A lot of folk might disagree with me, but it's just it's obviously I'm very raw and emotional now. But for me, nah, no good enough. I would be on their back. It's not good enough. It's no good enough. Didn't pay good money to go watch that. That's for sure. And I'm no wanting this club to slip back down to where they were.
Aye,
They were
totally,
poor,
mate.
and they were last night. This is Fenlon, Calderwood, Butcheresque. This what we've seen last night. And I tell you what, they've thrown Jack Ross underneath the bus. Didn't get me wrong. I didn't think he was good enough. It was very hard to defend that last night. But see the players, disgrace, mate. Absolute disgrace. Abysmal. Attitude is terrible. Terrible. The amount of, as I said, the amount of folk hiding last night, not looking for a pass, getting in front of goal and wondering what to do. How many weeks have we said it? Somebody have a bloody shot on goal. It doesn't have to go left and right all the time.
Aye.
Honestly, mate, I'm so fed up with them. I'm fed up. Like, yeah, it's poor, man. It's poor. It's poor.
No, you can tell that, mate, with the way in your voice. You're never really like this when it comes to Hibs. But I
couldn't believe what I was watching, mate. I couldn't believe. I've never seen a team so full of non-triers. Nobody was trying. Couldn't be arsed. Couldn't be arsed. If you can't be arsed, Ken, beat it.
Aye.
Seriously.
No, I'm fed up as well, mate. And I think, if your captain's getting sent off, like, you've no hope. Ken, your captain should be the one who's driving you on. And I've said it countless times. I didn't think Paul Hanlon's the Hibs captain, and I think
Sentiment FC, mate. We're sentiment FC.
I think the pressure of being captain's got to him. But Ken, he's a football player. He shouldn't be getting done by pressure of being a captain of a football team. And more than that, it's a team he supports.
He's been there for years. There for years.
He was captain most of last season as well, albeit Gray was the captain. But it's just shite. It's just shite now, isn't it?
It's unreal, man. It's unreal. Honestly, I could not believe what I was watching last night. Every time they got the ball, you could tell they didn't care what to do with it. I don't care if it's his tactics or doing to the individuals or what, but surely it comes a time, even if it is his tactics, surely there comes a time where one of you have got to say, I don't want to get beat today. I don't want to get beat, and try and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Not one of them. Not one of them. Terrible.
So, Calvin, I don't know if you've seen his interview after the game, Jack Ross, in his last interview as Hibs manager. He says, it's okay to lose if you lose them in the right manner. What does that say to you?
It's a loser's mentality. I mean, you didn't get any points for playing pretty football. Do you know what I mean? You need to put the ball in the back of the net, and unfortunately, we've not done it enough this season. Too many draws. I mean, the warning signs were there early on. I mean, even look at last season. I mean, yes, I've defended Jack Ross, and you know what? I will say it. I think he's a good manager. I do think he's a good manager. And I think he was shafted during the window. I mean, Matthew must be a jambo. Got to be a jambo, surely. The team he's left him with is not good enough. And Jack Ross said you had a list of players you wanted and he didn't get them in. Well, panicked by James Scott, who's an absolute waste. Absolute waster. I'd punt him in January. No point having him. You can't get yourself fit and you've got a chance to play for Hibs and you can't get yourself fit. Beat it. Now, even if he gets himself fit, his chance is gone. He's had his chance. Go. Just go. But that interview after the game, yes, I also heard him say, he's responsible. It's his team and that. Then he blame the players. I'm sorry, but I have to blame the players as well. They were abysmal. They were shocking. Absolutely shocking. The way they carried themselves, their body language, everything, it was abysmal. But I mean, if that can't be coming for the manager, you can't say it's all right to lose if you lose in the right manner. There's no right way to lose. You've lost.
Right.
That's the bottom line. And I think Hibs are too powder puff, man. They're too soft. They're too prone to that. You wouldn't get that at Hearts.
No.
You hear the Hearts manager saying, "Oh, we lost in the right way." No good enough.
Aye, definitely, mate. So obviously, the news broke earlier today that Jack Ross has been sacked. And probably most Hibs fans could see it coming. What's your immediate thoughts after hearing that?
I was shocked, mate. Because at times you've seen it work. You've seen the semi-final. We've seen other displays like that away at Dundee United. We've seen the good that Jack Ross can come, but it's far too inconsistent. We've also seen the bad. I feel a wee bit. I must admit, I feel a bit nervous. I feel like Jack Ross is a good manager. I've said that. However, I am frustrated with him. His subs are too late. Far too late with the substitutes. Far too late. I mean, there's the Motherwell game last week. Far too late with these subs. Everybody knew they needed to be on earlier, about 20 minutes earlier. Why he's brought Doidge on, waited 3 minutes, and then brought Allen on? Just bring them on at the same time. What are you doing?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? And then for me, Too late with his subs, too negative at times. Quite happy for draws rather than trying to win it. I thought the Rangers game was there to win. I'll go back even further. The Rijeka game. How did we not beat them at home? They were humpty, man. And then go get pumped 4-1 away. They were never a team that should have beat us 4-1. Ever. That was like a right dubbing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we're a better. I thought we were a better. So it's like you can't defend that. It's not good enough for that, man. That's brutal. But as I said, you've seen glimpses of it. Like he was very good against Rangers. He was very good against Dundee United away in the cup, things like that. But there's no identity. There's no style of play. I don't really see what Jack Ross is trying to do nowadays. There you go. He's taken 8 points from a possible 54 against Rangers, Celtic, and Hearts. How can we ever compete at the top of the league with that? How?
No, we can't.
Do you know what I mean? Cup final defeat to St Johnstone, that was absolutely dire. The semi-final was dire as well. However, I remember the first 30 minutes of that semi-final was really good. We played really well. We absolutely dominated them. But it's the same thing. When we go a goal down, we don't know what to do, mate. Like last night, we went a goal down. I said to the boy next to me, we've not got 2 goals in us.
Nah.
No danger. No danger. It's the right move, I feel. Just because I don't think we can go down this road anymore. Any further. I think it's dangerous. It's slippy. I also think that Graham Matthew, he's got to be a Jambo, eh? Surely he's a Jambo, man. I mean, he definitely, you know, Jack Ross definitely got shafted with his summer transfer window there.
Aye.
I mean, yeah, I was lucky to keep a hold of Nisbet and all of that, but, you know, he's brought in James Scott. I mean, fucking horrendous, man. Absolutely abysmal. Can he get fit to play for Hibs? I mean, just bounce. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, just go. Absolutely useless. Like I said, the boy Wood as well, he's brought in. I mean, where is this going? What is the vision for Hibs? Where is it going? Because right now, all I see is me and you and everyone else as cash cows. How much money can they make?
Aye.
Because, fair enough, they've got nice new... I wasn't one to say this. I put this in the bucket, but yes, the tellies are great. Yes, the new food stands and that are great. How about the football in the park? It's terrible. It's terrible. You know what I mean? You can't try to create a match day experience. You need to get the first thing to do that is to get the team right. And for me, no, it's the right decision. There's been too many if, buts, and maybes, and coulda, shoulda, woulda. I don't see the direction that Jack Ross is going in. I think he made hard work of getting third last year. I think that team made real hard work of getting third last year, and that was in a league that didn't have Hearts in it. Then it had a very poor Dundee United and Motherwell team in it, poor Aberdeen side, poor Celtic side. You know, we made a meal of that as well, and I think it's right. I think it's time. It's time's run out. It's time's run out. But on the other hand, mate, I do feel a bit nervous because, like I said, the revolving door of managers, who comes in next? It's got to be right. It's got to be right. And it's got to be Ken, 5-6 seasons. It can't be 2 seasons in out. 2 seasons in out. It's no the way. It's got to be 5, 6, 7 seasons, I think. We need to have some form of consistency. Do you know what I mean? It's brutal, man. What about you?
I'm frustrated, mate. I think I was like you, mate. I backed Jack Ross to the heavens. I thought he was the man at one point. Well, his time ran out, mate. Like you can't pick up 4 points in 9 games and stay at Hibs, and it's as simple as that. You know, some of the football we played has been good, but also some of the football's just eye bleeding. Like how many games have we texted in our WhatsApp group chat, me, you, and Jack, being like, we're not scoring the day, and it's like it's almost every single game, and it's just there's no style of football, there's no passion, there's no bottle, there's nothing, and I think it's justified, mate. Unfortunately, that's the nature of football. If you don't get results, you don't have a job, so it's justified in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a real shame.
I wanted it to work for him, mate. I like him. I do like him. I like his personality. I thought it was a good fit for him. Stable. The ship was a bit steady. And I thought he was just building himself a platform to work on. But it's all fell away from under him, eh? You can tell last night, surely those players can't be playing for him. They let him down massively last night.
Aye.
Massively.
Aye, totally, mate. What so obviously in the report that came out this morning, it says that David Gray is taking the job for the foreseeable future. So that could be, who knows how long that'll be. So what, Jenky will get the rest of the season, mate, or do you think they're in the active?
Can't he? Nah, he can't. We have to get it right, and we have to get it right fast. Our January window is going to be so important. We're going to end up being a bottom 6 club this year. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? A bottom 6 club? That's no good enough. No way. That's worse than Pete saying that, man.
Aye.
Well, it's on par with him. Now we can't afford that.
No.
Can't afford to have a bottom 6 team. They can't afford to give Gray that long, because the signings in January, they've got to be bang on, and they've got to be who the new manager wants. We can't be bringing in guys like James Scott that can kind of get fit and have contributed nothing to the team.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be bringing guys like Nathan Wood and punting them in that. We can't really be handing out new deals to Hanlon and Jake Doyle Hayes, guys like this, when we don't know if there's a new manager's type of player.
Exactly, aye.
You know what I mean? Like we need to get it in, and we need to get it fast. That's my thoughts. I don't think we can wait.
Nah, I think give David Gray the next couple of games. I think even give until I mean he's gonna lead us out at Hampden next week for the final, but like, see, in a hypothetical, mate, right? See if David Gray wins the cup. Like, has he got a shout to be the new manager?
No, I don't think. Nah, I don't think so, mate. We're too big a club. It's too big a job. We are not. We're not. We can't be sentimental with that. Listen, he's already a legend. Whatever he does,
aye.
David Gray. Even if he signed for Hearts, he'd still be a legend. I'd still love him for what he done. When he gave me the best deal on planet Earth. Do you know what I mean? Of my life, there's no way he'll ever can. Even if he loses that final, or if he wins it, regardless, everyone will defend him and say it's no his team, blah 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 blah. And he stepped up to the plate, like whatever, like he has. But for me, if he wins that cup, we have to put sentiment aside. We need to get a football manager in the door, no an ex-player. I've tried that, doesn't it work for me? No. What about yourself?
No, I think regardless of how he does in the final, mate, if he wins the cup, he's the first Hibs player ever, Hibs personnel ever to win the cup as a player and a manager. So like he goes down in that history, but nah, he's not the next Hibs manager. At least I hope he's no.
Can he be?
His reputation goes down the drain. See if he gets the job and gets sacked, that's his reputation finished.
I don't think he'd take it. I don't think he'd take the job. I think he knows his limits. He's quite a quiet guy, David. I don't think he'd take it. I don't think he would think he's the right man for the club.
No.
Personally. Just because it lack experience, that's all.
Aye. I think one day maybe he'd be the Hibs manager, like once he's built up enough experience and whatever, but I don't think it is the right man to take us forward. But on the subject, mate, who if you could have anyone, obviously you'd have Pep Guardiola or somebody like that, but realistically, mate, who's your next Hibs manager?
It's a hard question, mate. I feel like whoever you say, folk on Twitter have got to say you're wrong. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's got to be right. It's got to be bang on. That's the big thing. We can't get this one wrong. In my opinion, we can't get it wrong, because then we're going backwards. Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. Third place in the table, semi-finals, cup finals, trying to build a good buzz around the team and that. Let's just look at the lists. I mean, for me, I think if you take either McInnes or Ray, it's decent. For me, McInnes, I mean, at Aberdeen, we could only dream of that. Again, consistent third place finishes. Mind you, it was a weak league. There was no Hibs, Hearts, Rangers in it, right? However, he did lose a hell of a lot of cup finals down at McInnes in the semi-finals, but he did lose them to an invincible Celtic team. Do you know what I mean? Mm. That's hard to really. What chance did he have? If they appointed him, I'd be excited to see what he could do. I mean, he must have some sort of he must have some sort of good personality or some sort of spiel or whatever he puts on, because any player we tried to sign, he signed them for Aberdeen. You know what I mean? So he's obviously a manager that players want to work with, play for. I think Alex Ray, I think he's done a good job down at Hamilton. Obviously, he was the manager when we got relegated, am I right?
Oh,
was a player there.
Alex Neil, do you mean?
Oh, Alex Neil, sorry, I'm making of that Hun. Ray, sorry, it's been a busy day. No, Alex Neil, sorry, Alex Neil. Him, you know, he's done miracles at Hamilton, kept them up, especially with such a small budget. I'd like to see what he could do with a big budget. For me, Neil Lennon will have a special place in my heart. It's a very unpopular opinion, but for me, I don't think Lennon would be the right man for the job, just because I feel like the squad couldn't deal with his personality. They're too soft. From what I liked about Lennon was a winner. You never showed up to a derby under Lennon and thought we're getting pumped or we're not going to get beat. Never. Ken, when Lennon was in charge at the helm, I mean, even Marvin Bartley said that speech he gave, the guy gets it. He's a born winner, man. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, we had some of our best nights under Lennon, pumping hearts 3-1 at Easter Road and that. I think I've seen that once in my lifetime. Do you know what I mean? Like a proper thumping of hearts. A couple, not a handful of times. It was derby dominance. For Lennon, he was a winner. I mean, he was good performances against Celtic. He beat Rangers several times. Too many draws in there, I must admit. Quite similar to Ross. Far too many draws in that championship year we won it. But Lennon had a big pair of balls on him as well. Kenny wasn't afraid to bench players. I mean, he benched Cummins for a month.
Right.
Because he was being a smart arse. You know what I mean? He benched him for a month. Even when we were struggling, Ken, for goals or to get over the line, he just stuck to his guns. You can't, Ken, there's no many managers that would do that. I mean, Nisbet last night was abysmal, man.
Mm.
Never tried, never. I mean, he's definitely getting pulled out of that Scotland squad for Tony Watt. Like, there's no way he's sticking in that. I don't think so. No way they performances. Who else is on the list, mate?
I personally,
Callum
Davidson, I'd never have at Hibs after his comments the other week.
And look what he's done the last couple of this year as well. I mean, did he get lucky last year?
It's hard to say, but he beat Rangers on the way to that Scottish Cup.
Aye, a last minute goal, a header for the goalie though, eh?
Aye. Like, I think there's obviously they're in the running. Steve Keen's been touted. Like, I wouldn't take him, but I think he'll do better at the academy. There's been like
Raphael. What's Appleby up to?
Aye, Appleton.
Appleton, is that his name? Appleby. Aye, Appleton. What's he up to? Has he still got those tattoos?
Probably, mate. There's people have said, like, you know, Neil Lennon's obviously been touted, and I'd like to see us go a bit left field though. Like, I think I'd like to see us go a bit European style in football. You know, the guy for Hertha Berlin, Jack tweeted earlier, Dardai. I think I'd like to see us go for somebody like him, or even go down the Celtic route and go like further afield to like Australia. Ken, like somebody that's a bit unheard of, that I would come in and would bring a different style of football, because I think Hibs are a good football inside, that they just need somebody that can unleash that in us. And I've seen people say Duncan Ferguson, and you know, there's some big names that are being thrown about, but I think we'll go probably closer to home. And I think personally, I think Alex Neil's the man. But I've like, we'll see what happens, mate. But I think it's an exciting time. I think there's definitely some people that are going to be unhappy regardless of who we bring in. There'll be people calling for Neil Lennon. I've seen loads of them, but I think we'll see what happens, eh?
Do you think it has to be a Hibs man that comes in? No.
It should never. I think somebody that comes in should understand what Hibs is all about, but I don't think they should be a Hibs fan.
Right.
I don't think we should go for Ian Murray or somebody like that.
No, we can't. It has to be right. We can't joke about with folk like that. It has to be a manager, a proper football manager for me. Like, can't it be ex-players or Ken?
You look at the past 10 years, mate, we've had Calderwood, we've had Butcher, we've had Fenlon, we've had Hecky, we've had Jack Ross. And even, you know, the way Neil Lennon left to an extent, you know, we've left with sour tastes in our mouth after previous managers. And even Stubbs, like, he failed to get us promoted twice obviously won us the cup and is a hero for that. But
he jumped ship too soon, Stubbs. He was due us in our couple of seasons. He jumped ship too soon. So did Cummins. I mean, look at them now.
aye, like
You can only dream of being at Hibs. You know what I mean?
Like even since maybe Mowbray or John Collins, we've not had a manager that has instilled something about us that's hard to play against. Obviously, Lennon and Stubbs are probably the two in recent memory who got us playing. Like Stubbs beat Rangers a lot. Neil Lennon beat Rangers a lot. Neil Lennon beat Celtic at home as well and beat Hearts. But you're right, mate. The next one has to be right, and it has to be with a long-term vision in mind.
Yeah.
And it has to be backed by Ron, and I think he will be backed by Ron. I think, especially after the summer window, I think he'll be backed, but obviously sacking Jack Ross is probably taking some funds out of that.
Well, I'll tell you something, mate. You just made a point there. See, last night, we're not under Jack Ross. We weren't even hard to beat.
No.
Ken, when you're not playing well, at least make yourselves hard to beat. Weren't they?
No.
I mean, it was like hot knife through butter. The way the striker run for our defence. How many weeks have we been screaming about crosses into the box?
Since the start of the season, mate.
Come on. Do you know what I mean? This is what I don't understand. How can we all see it? Right? But they can't.
Mm-hmm.
How can they not see that as an issue?
It's been an issue for this whole season, mate. And I don't know what it's come from, because last season we were brilliant at defending them. And whether that's maybe a change of keeper or is different zonal marking or whatever, I think it'll be interesting me under this new manager, whoever it is, to see how if that gets rectified though.
I
think it'll be something that'll be rectified with them, because I'm assuming people have been watching our games. The new manager that'll come in will know a wee bit about what our season's been looking like, and we'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting one to see how the second half of the season pans out. I think they've already got someone lined up, because I don't think they'd have sacked them and play the waiting game. I think they've got someone in mind already who they're
must have done. One thing I will say is there's a few Jambos I was speaking to today, and they were saying that they were very confident for the derby, the New Year derby. But until the change today, they were saying if you get Alex Neil or Derek McKinnison, they said they said they don't want that, because they think we'll really kick on, because we're a decent side, we're decent players, but we just can't seem to get ticking on all, firing on all cylinders. We're a bit, something's missing every week. It's one part's not quite clicking.
It's actually probably a good time of year to play Hearts as well under the new, I'm assuming we'll have a new manager in by then. It's a brilliant time to play them, mate, because you'll have the new manager bounce about you. The players will want to impress the new manager. The one thing I'm hoping, though, is that the manager's not scared to bench players. Like Paul Hanlon. Paul Hanlon's your captain. He shouldn't be exemplary being benched. Paul McGinn, your vice captain. It should be everyone's fighting for their place, and if they're not pulling their weight, they're on the bench. Regardless at the club.
Yeah, right, mate. Yeah, right.
So, well, obviously, we've got David Gray, Craig Sampson, and Eddie May in charge for the next couple of weeks, foreseeable future. We'll see how long that lasts. And their first game is against St Mirren on Saturday, mate. So, what's your thoughts going into that? New management team in charge for the game. What's your thoughts?
Not very much, mate. It's a new management team, but it's the same players.
Aye,
it's the same players. I was absolutely shocked with the performance they put in last night. There's no ideas, there's no creativity, there's no enthusiasm, there's no urgency about the team. So flat. I mean, the way we were playing last night, you'd have thought we were winning 1-0. The way they were passing about the back four and that. I think they're going to struggle with the players they've got missing. They've got McGinn missing. That'll be Cadden in it right back, and then you've probably got to be starting Darren McGregor. And then
you've even got Porteous out because he pulled up injured last night.
It depends how injured he is. You've got to be starting Bogic and bloody McGregor centre back. Do you know what I mean?
And also Cadden missed out completely, so you could have Doig at left back and Stevenson right back. It's going to be a makeshift team.
Can't be any worse than what's been going on, though, mate. I must say that.
Oh, you're right. It can't be much worse, but it is an interesting one because, Deutsch hasn't played much since he's been back.
No, it hasn't. But I think he had a tummy bug in that. But even when he came on, I mean, we were. I said last night there was positive substitutes that were made. I mean, the subs that came on were positive at half time. Scott Allen and Dodge, they were terrible. Even when they came on, they were terrible. I mean, I think we've maybe overhyped Dodge a wee bit to be the saviour. He's no.
No, he's not the saviour. Not at all.
He's not going to get you 15 goals a season. He's not that type of player. That you play two up top. We're too soft up top, in my opinion. Last night, you just see it was screaming out for two up top.
It's I don't know, mate. Going into this one, I think I'm excited to see how we play under this makeshift management team. But you're right, it's the same players.
Yeah.
Like, if the players can't be bothered, then what good's that going into a game against St Mirren that is always a tough game, regardless of where you play them. They're the hard nut to crack most of the time.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, they gave us a good game at the start of the season.
They took points off us at Easter Road, mate, and that's, most teams can say that this season, to be fair. But so both teams are coming in a bad run of form. Obviously, we've picked up 4 points in the past 9. I wish we'd won 4 games in the past 9. And St Mirren haven't been much better, mate. So who does that suit more? Do you think that suits us better or them better coming into a game like this?
I think anybody would want to play us right now. And Jim Goodwin's a good manager as well. He'll know exactly how to get his team up. And they'll probably be feeling done a wee bit because they could have probably took something. I know we shared the points at Easter Road, but they probably felt they could have edged it. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, totally.
And it would be hard to disagree with that. So I think probably with the way we're going and what I've seen the last couple of weeks, I can't sit here and say I think we'll be favourites.
No, I think it suits St Mirren better, mate. Just with the slump we're on, I think they've got the same manager as they've had for the past couple of years, and let's be honest, mate. David Gray and that I've only got 1 training session with him. Or 2 at a max, because I don't know what happened today. If Jack Ross took training then left, or
nah, he wouldn't have. It was way early in the morning. Same thing as well, though. Gray's been there and about the training for a while. Do you know what I mean?
So's Craig Sampson, and I'm sure Eddie Mate's been popping his heat in time and time again. And he's done it before when managers have left. Remember him and Grant Murray took the team when Hecky left, when Lennon left. So, and so I think it's an interesting one, mate. I'm excited to see how we play, but I think it suits St Mirren more with both teams going in a bad run of form, because more often than not, anyone needs a win. They play Hibs, they usually get it. So
thing as well, Livingston were on a bad run of form last night as well. To be honest, you know what I mean?
Aye. So Calvin, what's your score prediction, mate, for that game?
1-1.
Aye, fair. I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be a boring game to watch. I think both teams will be trying to avoid getting beat. I think 2-2. I think 2-2 will be it. I don't think any team will win, but I think it'll be a high scoring one. But we'll just cancel each other out. So I think this is the first time that both of us have, or whoever's been on the podcast, have both predicted a draw. So we'll see.
I don't think we've got 2 goals in us, mate. I'd be surprised if we even got 1.
Aye, I know that's it, mate. So we'll move on to our last wee section before we let everyone know what our next podcast is going to be. So it's Get in the Bucket. So Calvin, I'll come to you. I'll come to you because you're the only one to come to. So what's going on in the bucket for you this week, mate?
What's going in the bucket is people not being able to have an opinion, mate. If you think Derek McInnes is the next Hibs manager for you, then that's your opinion. Do you know what I mean? People didn't need to poo-poo it or try and shoot you down in that. If that's what you think, can stick to your guns. I see a lot of hate for that on Twitter. Or if you think bloody Stubbs or Lennon or whoever's the next manager, I mean, if you can back it up with your reasoning in that, I feel like you're entitled to your opinion. Didn't go with the status quo and feel like you need to be bullied into saying something other than your opinion. I've seen a lot of that. I mean, a lot of folk are saying, if you think Lennon's the man for the job, Ken, bolt. Or if you think it's bloody, are they Ken Stubbs or whoever, or Ray, Neil. Why do I keep saying Ray? Honestly, mate, you can tell it's been a long night. Livy was a late one last night. Getting back was brutal to watch, and my head's just not in it today, man. I'm all over the shop. And I was at work today as well when all this stuff was coming out, so I was trying to keep up to date in that and teach the kids to at the same time. Which obviously, I'm a for me, I don't know. I'd say getting the bucket to that, getting the bucket folk, trying to shoot folk down for having an opinion, mate. Be yourself.
Getting the bucket, giving a manager a contract extension, then 6 months later sacking him. It's just no the way we need to do it, mate. Like, that's a lot of money that we've just paid out to sack him. And John Potter too, because he went with him. So it's a lot of money that we could have spent in January. I think we will have money to spend in January, but I think it'll be less than first thought. But so we'll get in the bucket for that. So obviously it's a big week next week, mate, for one half of the Hibs team. So the Hibs women team are at Tynecastle on Wednesday, and you and Jack are going.
Right.
So are you excited for the game?
I am excited for it, mate. It was a good fixture last time. It was all right. We'll all be in hospitality this time, so I'll just be sitting kind of Tynecastle, which will only be nice. It's not really that nice a stadium, but I'm looking forward to the fixture. I think the Hibs women's team as well. Come on, they need to start picking up results and all, man. This is depressing. Seriously depressing, man. Yes, I think I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure Hibs will win. But Hearts look like the women's team have been picking up a few points here and there. They didn't look as bad as maybe they once were, or we once thought they were. But no, I'd like to see. I'd like to see the match, and I'm looking forward to going with Jack, and that'll be a good wee date night for us.
Unfortunately, I'm missing it because it's my birthday and I'm through in Glasgow for the night. So unfortunately, I'll miss it. But we've got a special podcast coming out over the weekend. So if you remember back to September when we played them at Easter Road, we had Siobhan Hunter on. Well, this time we've got another one of the players coming on. We've got Ailey Adams coming on the podcast, who scored at Easter Road. So that'll be good to chat to her. She's a Hibs fan through and through, and is living her girlhood dream. Can we say that? Is that boyhood?
Absolutely, aye. She's living my dream, mate. I'd love to play for Hibs and score at Easter Road against Hearts in any sort of way, shape, or form. So I definitely living the dream, mate.
So she's agreed to come onto the podcast, so that'll be class. We're looking forward to chatting about the season so far and her derby experience playing at Easter Road. So make sure to watch out for that one coming. I think we're recording on Sunday with her, so it should be out relatively soon after that. And if you have still not got your tickets and are free on Wednesday, make sure to pick them up and go along to Tynecastle to support the girls. Last I'd heard we'd sold they're free, but 750 Hibs fans will be there, which is a good number for a women's game. That's more than we usually get at a game at Livingston, if I believe to be right. So should be a good night. And so that brings us to a close episode number 39. A pretty depressing one, to be honest, but hopefully we're back with a positive one when we chat to Ailey. But until next time, Mona Hibs.